Hi, welcome to Onside SA, the football show that lets you know what's going on. And we've had a lot of action over the week. We had Premier League matches on Tuesday and Wednesday. We had a catch-up match in the South African League, Sundowns against Cape Town. And Budge, things are taking shape, last one standing.
Yeah, Paul, 2 games, a lot of pressure. It was a little bit difficult to try and get hold of people on WhatsApp. While they all knew, several of the guys I spoke to yesterday, sorry, our work commitments and so on. But it all panned out nicely, Paul. And most of the guys went through last night as well.
Yeah, good results for the guys. But these are opening 2 weeks, as you say, Budge, when you've got crowded fixtures, the bigger teams seem to win.
Yeah, they've got better squads, Paul. They can cope with injuries and so on.
Only one team in the top 6 lost.
Yeah.
Spurs. They're struggling at the moment. But Man United keep rolling, Budge.
Yeah, I watched, obviously, Paul.
Man
Funny
City,
performance,
Darcy
but,
penalty, Man City.
A clever penalty, yeah.
Clever. Yeah, okay. And so last one, is international pundit Stevie B still in?
Stevie, he was in Liverpool last night. Stevie,
They were good.
Yeah, great start.
Getting up to it. But just to let you know, for last one standings, we're up again this weekend, and please make sure you contact Budgie. Yeah. We started off with 419. It cut quickly to 289. The 289's just taken a little bit of a shave. It's now 232 after the midweek game. So the guys who didn't go through were the guys who were on Wolves and Crystal Palace. But get your selections in. It looks an interesting week again.
Yeah, well, talking to Crystal Palace, Paul, 2 staunch people went against Man United. Alex Petzer and Enzo Capola. They both threw away picks, but staunch Liverpool boys who couldn't have United. But anyway, we'll crack on, Paul.
Let me just get everything sorted out here. Let's just get Stevie B on the line, because we must talk to him about the results last night. Steve, are you about? Morning, Stevie. We're just talking about yesterday's football. I think you and I are going to have to keep quiet and let Budge do the talking. Our teams got rolled.
Absolutely. We have nothing to crow about, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know which games you watched. Did you get to watch your beloved Fulham?
No, I watched the Chelsea-Tottenham game last night.
Not much of a game, I thought. Not many chances.
No, I mean, it was... I think Chelsea just seemed to sort of up their game a little bit. I think they normally do against Tottenham anyway.
Yeah.
But, they played a lot better than they have in recent weeks in the league.
Yeah. So it's very, very interesting. But just to those of you who don't know, Chelsea beat Spurs 2-0 at Chelsea. Liverpool won 5-0 at Watford at home. Man City beat West Ham at home, a penalty. Southampton beat Fulham. The team to win away was Man United. They beat Crystal Palace 3-1, and Arsenal beat Bournemouth 5-1. Just touching on that, Steve, Bournemouth are very up and down, eh?
They are. They've lost, I think, sort of 8 in a row now away from home. So it's their home form that has been strong, that sort of kept them where they are. But they need to be a little bit careful. They've got Man City at the weekend, so they don't want to start losing games. They're not that many points clear now of the teams at the bottom, because obviously all these teams at the bottom, Burnley, Newcastle, Southampton, are all sort of winning games. So I think they need to probably still pick up a few more points, Bournemouth.
Yeah. Okay. Just for touching on Budge, I watched the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
Stevie, I can't believe how many goals they conceded with headers.
Yeah. The balls coming in were...
Every time they threw Mane's not a tall guy.
Yeah.
Banging on his head. The big boy Virgil.
They've got a fairly ageing defence, Watford. I'm not sure if they were without 1 or 2 players. I mean, Mariappa and Cathcart have been there been around a long time, and they just couldn't cope with the pace and the intensity that Liverpool played with last night, by the sounds of it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once Liverpool scored early, Steve, it was a matter of how many, I thought. Yeah.
Definitely. And, I think they needed that. They needed to get back on track. Yeah. And I think they sent a bit of a message, and the other game I was surprised that sort of City sort of struggled really to sort of break down West Ham. It took a soft penalty, and in the end, they could have won by more, but it wasn't overly convincing.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple of questions, Bud. You put some ones down here. The question I want to speak to Steve about is not the first one, it's the second one. The Chelsea goalkeeping debacle, what I call it. What was your take?
Well, I just think, it was outrageous. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Where you see players get subbed and they get upset and they, kick the hoardings or the water bottle or shout at the manager, but never not to come off. And I mean, I know that Sarri obviously is in a precarious position there, but that totally undermined him. So I think ultimately, they did what they had to do, but they, they didn't punish him that much. He got a 1 week fine, which is still a lot, and they dropped him last night. And whether or not they'll recall him at the weekend, or he'll now sit on the bench for a little while as a punishment. But you can't have that. You can't have a player refusing to come off. Where does it end? Every time player doesn't feel like coming off, he just stays on. I mean, it's quite outrageous.
Yeah, there was it was Budge. I was just saying, a lot of the TV shows, the radio shows in the UK were really putting the boot in that goalkeeper. They were saying, where was the captain? Do you think John Terry would have allowed that? And the manager.
Well, you can't understand that. That he was allowed to stay on. The ball comes up, they call him off. As it happened, he didn't. He made one save, but he could have saved the Aguero penalty. Went over the top of it. He didn't actually sort of. If he would have won the penalty shootout for them, it might have been justified. But as it happens, Willie Caballero has got a very good penalty save record. I think part of the issue is that here he is. He's a £70 million goalkeeper. Yeah. They're not going to just kick him out, are they? Than if it was somebody that cost them nothing. So they're a little bit hamstrung by it. But I think the club have to back the manager, whether or not they're going to keep him in the long term or not. I think they have to back the manager at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Steve, on to Leicester City. I see they replaced Claude Puel with Brendan Rodgers. Was that always in the pipeline?
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of. I mean, obviously, I think Claude Puel was going to go. I don't think there was any question of that. Lots of reasons. He just wasn't popular there. Didn't play the style of football. The whole thing fell out with Jamie Vardy, which is probably not a good thing to do, as he is pretty much sort of Mr. Leicester. And but I think Brendan Rodgers, you can understand why he jumped at it. He can't go any further with Celtic. He's won everything he can win with them domestically. They're never going to do anything in Europe, as they showed again. Sort of went out the first stage, knockout stage in the Europa League. So for him, I think it's a good move to get back into the Premier League. Be interesting now to see if he is as good a manager as he thinks he is, and whether or not Leicester have sort of maybe moved a bit too quickly. But as I say, they were sinking very quickly, and I think they needed to decide to stabilise.
Yeah. Steve, you're going to jump forward to next week before we do the previews on the Championship and Premiership. Can you see Spurs tossing it, and can you see Man United coming back against PSG in the Champions League?
I'd be very surprised to see United come back. If there was one goal in it, but I think sort of from two down, they've really got to go some. Especially with the injuries they've got. And they were holding Rashford back last night. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's fit that he'll start. But I think that's just a little bit too far for them, which is a shame.
Yeah, I've got no chance.
Tottenham, I think, are going to have to be really careful. I mean, Dortmund are a good team at home, and they play with a lot of intensity. Attack at pace. I think Tottenham need to be really careful and not concede sort of an early goal or two there. If they can pinch an away goal, then I think that will be sufficient. But I think they're going to have to look a little bit sharper than they did in the last couple of matches, as we've seen.
Yeah. Talking to Tottenham, how do you see the London derby going, Steve? Saturday lunchtime.
Well, I think it's going to be a close game. Tottenham now, I think realistically, are not going to catch the top two. You can't see both of those teams slipping up, and they're sort of 8 and 9 points respectively behind, with goal difference sort of 9 and 10. So they want to just hang on to third place. I think that's going to be a tie game. I think there'll be goals. I think Arsenal just seem to have found a little bit of form. So I think it'll be a close. I think that could be a sort of a scoring draw.
Scoring draw, nothing. Spurs will roll them. They're not at Arsenal. They're coming to us.
We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Stevie, there's also some interesting games coming up in the Championship, and we wanted your opinion. Who seem to have started a little bit lately is Derby.
Yeah.
Derby are sort of flattered to deceive. And I watched the game on Monday night. They didn't play particularly well at Forest. Forest got a very early goal. Quite a feisty affair. It is a local derby. There's no love lost between them. But Derby have just seemed to, they can't quite close that gap on the top few at the moment. And they Derby got a tough game at Villa. I mean, Villa are not playing that well, as we know. I think that will be close.
Leeds West Brom, Steve. We won't get it on Friday night, but obviously you will. How do you see that one going?
I was surprised that although Sheffield United we know are doing very well, but I was surprised they lost at home and didn't score. That's going to be that is a big game. Leeds didn't play all that well evidently against Bolton, sort of came through in the end. I think that's going to be a tight game. West Brom tend to be a little better away from home, so I think that's going to be a tight game. There won't be more than one goal in it, but I think there will be goals there, definitely.
Yeah, talking about Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United on Monday night.
Yeah, that's again, they're always good affairs. Wednesday are just starting to find a little bit of form.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got Steve Bruce at the helm, just tightening things up. United are going to be favourites, but I think because it's a derby, I think it's going to be closer than you think. I think they could be either a draw or maybe United might just edge it by one.
Yeah, two disappointing teams. Stoke City against Notts Forest.
Yeah, Stoke have been disappointing. Obviously, they were held at home by Villa last week.
Yeah.
Forest had a good win. Forest are just starting to sort of creep back up. They're not that far adrift of a playoff place. I think that's a game they're going to target. I think, again, that either Stoke might hold them or Forest might just edge that.
Yeah. My boys, Preston, how do you see them going against Bristol City?
Well, I think they're not far adrift, Preston, and Bristol having slipped up for the first time recently. I think there could be a slight upset there. I think they had a good win the other night at Millwall, so the other on Saturday. I've got a feeling Preston might just upset the odds there.
Yeah, Stad for nothing, Steve. We came up with them 2 seasons ago. We've beat them the last 6 times we've played them. So let's hope it continues. And the last one's a relegation battle, Steve. Ipswich Reading.
Well, Reading have got sort of no form away from home. Ipswich have just found a little bit of form, but they're still adrift. I think Ipswich, it's all or nothing for them. I think they'll go for it. I think that'll be a low-scoring game, and I think Ipswich might pinch it by the odd goal in 3.
Yeah, I agree too. Steve, the big derby, obviously, of the weekend, other than London, is it in Merseyside? Can Everton upset them?
I'm tempted to say no, but they had a good win during the week at Cardiff, Everton. Everton have not been playing well, and Marcus Silva's under a lot of pressure. They're not going to want to lose at home to their big rivals. I think it will be close. I think Liverpool can't afford to slip up. I think Liverpool might just edge that. I think there'll be goals, but I think Liverpool will just edge it.
And can Fulham finally get a result beating Chelsea?
I think it's a lot. Stranger things have happened. We're showing no form at all at the moment. We've lost 7 of our last 8 league games, which, when you're adrift at the bottom, we really are adrift now because obviously we've been losing to our rivals. So we have to we've got to throw caution to the wind now.
Yeah.
There's no point playing safe and playing 5 at the back and hoping that we pinch a draw. We've got to go for it, and if we lose, so be it. I think there'll be goals, but I think Chelsea will just be too strong, especially on the way that they played last night.
Yeah, you've got to have a go. Steve, you've got to have a full go. I just want to ask you, at this stage, Huddersfield, we agree, or need a lifeline. Fulham will go get on that boat as well. If those 2 teams go down, who would you tip to go down with them?
I think Cardiff. I think that they've had a couple of bad home defeats. Watford 5-1 and Everton 3-0 this week. Teams around them are sort of picking up a little bit of form. Obviously Southampton won, Newcastle are pulling away. So I think it's Cardiff. But strange things have happened. Teams have been sucked in. Brighton have been sucked right into it. They're showing no form at the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Obviously, they got the FA Cup, might be a distraction for them. So, I think it is Huddersfield. I think it's Fulham.
Yeah,
and it's one of sort of a number of teams. But, there is always a team that gets sucked in. And I think sort of Brighton or even Bournemouth are not safe.
What about Stevie as a parting shot? Last one standing. You still going?
Well, I'm still standing. So I haven't gone past round 3. So I'm going to go with Man City. I think I've got to just pick the winners and stay in there.
Good man. Stevie, as always, fantastic talking to you. Thanks for all the updates, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, pleasure. Take care. Bye.
All the best, Steve.
Right, there we go. Lovely to talk to Stevie. So erudite, and he knows his football in the championship. He's going to have to get to know it again with his team full of.
Yeah, shame, Paul. They just can't.
They can't
do
put it
right,
together. But as I said, they've got to go for it against Chelsea. Chelsea are going to have to keep rolling as well too. But let's get on to the league this weekend, Buds. There's some good derbies.
Yeah.
There's some tough games, and we'll start at the top.
Yeah.
The North London derby, Spurs at Wembley. So. I think we have to beat Arsenal. We've got to beat Arsenal to stay in the hunt, Arsenal are playing very well, but this is a tougher test if you look at who they've played.
Yeah, and also, Paul, away from home, Their record, I think they've won 1-7 away from home, and that
it.
was Huddersfield, and they could have. They didn't really deserve to win. They were hanging on to
right,
the death.
2-1, yeah.
Yeah, this will be a humdinger, Paul. I think
humdinger.
goals is the way to go if you're going to play. I think it was 6-10, over 2.5 goals, but
Spurs are hurting.
Spurs are hurting, Paul. You know, the form goes out the wind in local derbies.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, of the two teams, you know, I fancy Spurs.
Yeah. Okay, Bournemouth, Man City. Bournemouth are getting thumped.
Yeah, they just can't defend, Paul. The first 2 goals against Arsenal last night were an absolute disgrace.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You know, I looked at the bet. Yeah, Man City 1-4. You can't take that. I just saw over 3.5 goals, Paul. I think it was 13-10.
Over 3.5.
Over 3.5. You know, Bournemouth have a go, Paul.
That's one thing about
you
them.
know, and Man City have a go
but
too.
The only thing I'd have against that bet budget's a tight little track. Do you remember 96 minutes Sterling got them to win?
Yeah, that was 2-1. You know, Bournemouth, Paul, they just open gates at the back. And the way Pep Guardiola has a go.
Yeah, they don't
sit
back.
I think they'll both score.
Okay,
but,
fair enough.
You know, if there's value, Paul, 1-4, I think it was 5-10 to win by more than one. Yeah, I just looked at all the odds in that game. That was the play there.
But if you look at Brighton now, Brighton are, as Steve said, being dragged into it. Now, Huddersfield are going to lose.
Yeah.
But Brighton at home, they normally hold the big guns.
They're
They're good at home.
Paul, for me, I fancy Brighton. I watch Huddersfield play Wolves.
Yeah.
They can't score. They miss chance after chance. They deservedly beat Wolves. But what is going, Jan Sievert, the new manager, he knows his team's gone. He's getting prepared for the championship.
Yeah.
So you couldn't believe how well they played. They were in, like the old-fashioned teams. In.
They had a go.
If ever Brighton, Paul, if they score, they win.
Yeah,
you know, I think Brighton, this is their game, Paul.
Brighton
if they don't win this game, they're in trouble, Brighton.
Beautiful new stadium
I think they'll win.
Okay, Burnley had a wonderful run, then they got beat.
Yeah, Paul.
They're at home to Crystal Palace, who are doing so well away.
Paul, away from home, you know, that's the bet. Crystal Palace win and draw. You know, I was disappointed in them a little bit last night. You know, United were really struggling, Paul. We scored a good goal, Lukaku, 2-0 up and cruising. Then Ashley Young made a stupid mistake at the back, tried to be clever. Then the game was on.
Yeah.
And they should have got an equaliser.
Is that right?
But you know, United scored late. But you can see they're a counting, attacking team, Paul. They got greyhounds up front, Townsend.
When are they going to announce Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's minutes? That's got to come. They'd be right if he doesn't get it.
He's in charge, Paul.
Yeah,
There's
he's
no
fantastic.
Doubt about
Done a great job. Good man. I like listening to him.
Paul, he doesn't fear the club. You know, Mourinho and Van Gaal thought they were bigger than the club.
Yeah.
Ole, he won the Champions League, World Club.
So
he knows everything. All the old players love him.
You know, he can sit and, as you say, talk to Carrick, talk to Ferguson. These are mates of his,
Did you watch the Liverpool after they interviewed him on the pitch?
Yes,
Michael,
yes.
And he said, "Hey, Scholes's in the," and he screamed, "What? Scholes's in the studio?" And he was going to chirp him.
Yeah.
But he has no fear, Paul. He loves the club. The fans love him, and he'll be in charge, no doubt.
Now, Southampton aren't playing that badly, but it's a tough task to go and be Man United. But Man United, if ever they're going to get it, with these injuries, there's a chance, you know, a team like catch them on the break or 1-0 down, then they're going to have to raise their game.
You know, Paul, you talk about injury. We still got Sanchez, we still got Lukaku, Pogba. We spent 50 million on Fred. Yeah, the back four's not that bad. I think there's plenty of goals in that, Paul. I think it was 8-10, over 2.5 goals. And Southampton aren't coming to sit back.
No, they're going to have a go.
So I think there's goals in this game, Paul. 5-10, bit short for me, but the players' goals.
Is 5-10 too short? Wolves at home against Cardiff?
Well, it should be, but Cardiff are one of those funny teams, Paul. They went to Leicester, conceded a penalty in the last 10 minutes. Leicester missed it, and then they went down and scored the winner. Against Southampton, they were lucky, but on current form. But Wolves are terrible on Tuesday night, Paul. I said that was a game.
Play well.
They were shocking.
And you know, they've had such a good year, and Cardiff are fighting for their lives.
You know, you should think 5-10 looks a good thing, but wouldn't be my play.
Wet Spam, they are up against rejuvenated.
I like Newcastle.
Newcastle.
That new guy they've got from.
He can play. He's quick too.
Yeah, they've got 3 up front. Rafa seems happy. The fans are over the moon. If there is an upset this weekend, Paul, I think this is it.
Okay.
Watford, Leicester. Well, you know, you never know with the bounce factor. I thought Brighton were unlucky. I only saw the highlights. But, you know, Watford were terrible last night. 5-0 at the back, they're dodgy.
Every time I think Virgil got 2 with his head.
Got 2. Even
he got 2 with his head. Mane scored with his head.
You know, Leicester could surprise them again, Paul.
Yeah.
21-10. That's my value bet of the weekend in the...
Okay.
So, you know, just Watford at home are hard. They're a good physical team, Paul, but...
Chelsea 6-10, Fulham at the Cottage.
That's a good thing, Paul.
Yeah.
You know,
Cottage.
I think it was 12-10 to win by more than 1. Yeah, Chelsea on a roll. Fulham are struggling.
Everton's a very big price.
Yeah.
You can nearly give 5-1 for them to win at home. Do you remember the last time they met at Anfield?
Yeah.
The keeper went to flick it
Yeah.
over,
Yeah.
and they got beaten in
Yeah.
injury time.
Yeah.
So, as you say, Derby's the form goes out the window.
Yeah, but you know, Liverpool don't concede many goals, Paul. That's
No,
the
they're
only
very
thing.
good.
But Everton, yeah, they always scored at
Liverpool, very
Goodison.
good side. They attack, they're quick.
I think there'll be goals in this, Paul. I think we're due for a cracker.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
I
right.
think. Sunday after or Sunday evening in our
Sunday
time,
evening.
I think there'll be goals. But of the two teams, I think Liverpool will just edge it.
All right. What about the championship, Budge? Tell me about the championship.
Hotting
This
up,
is getting
Paul, yeah.
hot, really, really hot now. The first game we got is Leeds United, West Brom.
Leeds have just fallen off. They got beaten midweek by
Yeah.
QPR. You know, West Brom won 8 of the last 9 away from home. They're just terrible at home, Paul.
They're fourth, eh?
They're fourth, but it's their away form that's kept them in it.
Three
You know,
plays 4.
Yeah, win and draw West Brom for me, Paul.
Who's,
but I think
is
they
that
should-
Pulis? No.
No, that's he's at Middlesbrough. Darren Moore, big
That's
centre
right.
half. He's in
Yes.
charge. Win and draw West Brom for me there, Paul. Aston
Villa,
Villa Derby.
disappointing side. They're 13th.
Yeah, they just lost. Yeah, ever since they sacked Steve Bruce, they thought, well, guns and
Yeah.
roses. Everyone thought we're smelling the roses, and it's gone pear-shaped. Of the two, I think a draw a big player there, Paul. I like Derby of
Derby
the two
got to
teams.
have a go now.
Away from home, Lampard, they counter-attack well. A lot of youngsters. Yeah,
They're
it's must
seventh.
win
They're
for
seventh,
Villa.
Budge. They're seventh.
Yeah.
They've got to start getting back.
Derby
there.
win and draw for me.
Brentford, QPR, 16 plays
Lo-
17.
Local Derby, Paul. You know, Brentford in form at home. I think they've won 4 of the last 5.
Oh, Brentford, a London club.
Yeah, well, that's when our man Andrew Rydell took me to the ground. You can't believe it's in a housing estate. I actually stood on his bonnet and took photos of the ground. Small little ground, looks a great atmosphere.
Brentford, eh?
Brentford, yeah. Yeah, QPR won their first game in 8. They'd lost 7 in a row. They beat Leeds. They were hanging on at the death. They
Wally
beat
with the
them 1-0.
brolly.
Wally with the brolly, so he's back. But
Yeah.
Brentford are the two teams.
Hull City, a bit of a pothole on the road lately.
Yeah, they have, Paul. Birmingham have done great under Gary Monk, especially away from home. They've only lost 1 in 8. So of the two teams, you know, that's the 1, 2, 3 for me. A draw player there, Paul. I think of all the games, that's got goals written on it in the championship. Hull, Birmingham.
Reading go to Ipswich. They don't
Yeah,
score
I
goals,
like-
Reading.
Away from home, they cost us last week, Paul. I was still horrified by that
Yeah,
chance
that
the guy
1-1.
missed.
Gee, it was an
Crikey.
absolute city missed to win it. Yeah.
Criminal. I like Ipswich, Paul. It's do or die. Yeah, they've been competitive lately,
Yeah.
especially at home. 18-10, Paul. I think it's worth an interest.
Millwall. We're Millwall.
God,
Never forget that. We're Millwall. What did
we
that
are-
guy say when he got attacked? The guy in the
come with the
pub.
panga.
We're Millwall. We're going to get
Yeah, I
attacked.
like Norwich, Paul. I think Norwich
Top
are
of the
good
log,
things.
Norwich.
They score a lot of goals. Millwall
That's a
are-
good price.
Yeah. That's
6 to
my
5.
bet for the weekend, 12-10. Paul,
Okay.
Millwall is struggling, 1-1 and 8.
The North End against the Bristols.
Yeah, Paul, this is a big game for us. You know, we slowly squeaky back into playoff contention. We've got a great record against Bristol City, as I said earlier.
They're
Won the
sixth.
last 6.
They're going to fight for every ball.
Yeah, they got beat by Birmingham in midweek, 2-1 at home, Bristol. So they brought them back to the field.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
doing well.
I think goals, Paul, obviously I'm staunch Preston 13-10, but it's going to be a close game.
Now, a game that doesn't interest me too much is Rotherham against Blackburn.
Paul,
22
Rotherham, I
plays
think, have drawn
15.
more games than anybody in England. You know, I think this is the score draw written all over it, Paul. I'm going to have a look at what price 1-1 and 2-2 is.
Yeah.
You know, Blackburn are terrible away from home. They've won 1 of 13. Rotherham battle at home.
Yeah.
I think their last win at home, they beat Preston. We had a player sent off. But draw a big player for me in that game, Paul.
Stoke City, 15th. But that's...
With the money, well, they
Not
got rid of
Forest, they're
Gary
on the
Rowett.
move.
I like Forest, Paul.
They're
I
on
can't
the
believe the
move.
price there. I think it's 8-10 win and draw Forest. I was going to make them my best value bet, but away from home, they draw too many games, Paul.
Yeah.
They haven't won
Yeah.
in 8, but they've drawn 5 of them. They drew at Preston, and it was a good game. Speaking to my Preston people, they said Forest have improved big time. So they're
How
a
about
lurker to sneak into the playoff.
Swansea Bolton.
It has to be, Paul. Bolton are terrible. They're on the way
Terrible.
out.
Yeah.
Swansea, a little bit enigmatic, but you got to think 5-10 should be in your multiples, yeah.
Wigan, 19th.
Yeah.
Playing against Middlesbrough,
You know,
5th.
Middlesbrough, the Tony Pulis, Paul, they're slowly tightening the gap on the boys above them. It's just a terrible pitch. They're playing rugby league on it now. Well, they've always played, but this game's thick and fast. Got to have a bet in there. I won't be, but Middlesbrough for me, Paul. I think they're tailor-made
The
to win
Sheffield
1-0.
derby.
Now, this should be a humdinger. You know, I watched this remember we went for the rugby in November. I watched the game at Sheffield United. They
Yeah.
destroyed Wednesday. They drew 0-0. They missed a penalty, but they're unbeaten
Sheffield
at 8 at
United
home.
are second, is that right?
They've come well, won a lot of
They
games.
can't afford to lose.
Yeah, they won 7 and 9, Paul, but they're unbeaten at 8 at home, Steve Bruce's team. Since he's
Yeah.
gone to Sheffield Wednesday, they've improved big
Yeah,
time.
he's very good.
I like him.
Let's talk local soccer, Budge. PSL. PSL midweek, there was a catch-up
Game last night.
Great
very good
game, I believe.
Yeah, Sundowns, they were always in control, but Cape Town City got a terrible penalty. Shot, blocked it, deflected onto his arm, penalty, 1-1. Then Sundowns scored 2 good goals, 3-1. And injury time, Cape Town City, boys scored a screamer.
Is that
50
right?
yarders, 3-2. Have a go. I like Cape Town City, Paul, but I don't like them this weekend.
Sundowns must have gone top.
Sundowns clear, yeah. And they've got games in hand.
Yeah, they've got a game in hand and they're a point up on Bidvest Bits. Pirates, 2 points behind. They're not too bad. Cape Town City, actually.
No,
so
he's
it's an
done well,
important
Ben.
win, eh?
Yeah.
If he'd have won that, he'd back in the scrum and
Yeah.
you know, he'd have been town points with one game behind.
He signed a player that was at Pirates, Kermit Erasmus. Very quick player up front, and he went to Europe and didn't really seem to crack, and he was back. I hadn't watched much of them. Geez, he's quick. He can play, Paul.
Yeah.
They're good to watch, Cape Town City, yeah?
Everyone needs to get out there and see how the rest of the world play.
Yeah.
You get out there. You wait till these guys come back. Who's the boy Brighton bought and they sent on
Yeah,
loan?
no, he sent him on loan. He's at St Helier, yeah.
Yeah, he's Percy Tau.
Yeah.
I want to see what he comes back like. What's the other one? Kieran Dolly. What's his name?
Yeah,
These are
Keegan
good
Dolly.
players. And
He's
they've
in
gone.
France, yeah.
He's in France, okay. Let's look at the fixtures this weekend, the PSL fixtures. Maritzburg United, 16th.
Well, it's
Amazulu, local derby.
Yeah, it's a must-win game for Maritzburg. Eric Tinkler's back. They've scored 5 goals in 2 games. I think they'd scored 6 goals in the previous 16.
Wow.
So,
That's good.
you know, I like Eric Tinkler as a manager. Wherever he's gone, he's been successful.
He has a go, like a football. When he was a player, he had a go.
Midfield, you know, Amazulu are a good team, Paul.
Yeah.
But I think a draw player here, you know, is a local
Sundowns
games.
Bloem?
Yeah, it should be Sundowns. The only thing is Bloemfontein Celtic always give them a game.
Yeah,
And I don't know how often it works out. Teams perform well on Wednesday. When they get to the Saturday, they seem to let themselves down.
Yeah.
So I've thrown the exotics, thrown the draw in, but 5-10 Sundowns looks a good thing.
Chiefs is 6th. Massive club.
Yeah, big game. The game's in Durban, the Moses Mabhida Stadium. But, you know, I fancy Chiefs ball 9-10.
6 plays 7.
Highlands are well organised.
They've done well.
Owen de Gama's got them
Yeah,
organised.
he knows his football, that
Yeah.
guy.
That's
And then
Chiefs.
Free State Stars, Black Leopards,
Went for Black
15th place,
Leopards
13th.
last week. They drew 0-0. Yeah, Free State Stars were terrible. Then they murdered Bloemfontein Celtic. Yeah, Bethlehem, not the easiest places to go, but win and draw Free State for me, yeah.
Pirates have got to go and play Golden Arrows.
Yeah, Paul, the last 10 games they've played at Golden Arrows, Pirates have won.
Wow.
So
12 to 10.
12-10. Pirates, that's my play, Paul.
Okay. Wits have to win. They're
Yeah.
playing Cape Town, so this will be a great
It
game.
should be a good game, Paul. You know, also Wits will be fresher. Gavin will have his boys fired up.
But he's 4th Cape Town City.
Yeah.
You know.
No, he's done well, but he wins a lot of his games at home, Benny.
Yeah, well, that's right. He's
So
away.
I like Wits of the 2 teams, purely because Cape Town City, hard game Wednesday, Paul.
Yeah, 12
And Wednesday,
to 10.
Saturday is not easy.
12 to
especially
10,
against
Budge.
good teams. Wits for me, Paul.
Chipper United, Supersport.
You know, Clinton Larson's taken over there. The 4 home games, they've played 2 cup games. They won 3 and drawn 1. You know, Supersport, another team, Paul. I wouldn't be taking 14 to 10. We went for them against Baraka. They got beat 2 at home. So, of
Talking
the
about
2 teams,
Baraka, they 12th. They play
I think
Polokwane,
there's
who's
goals
7th.
in that game, Paul. But Baraka can't win at home.
Yeah.
You know, Polokwane are the 2 teams, but I think there's plenty of goals in that. Paul, I think it's 16 to 10 over 2.5 goals.
Right,
So
but
that
let's
was
look
our
at these
play.
6s, these 10s,
Yeah.
and these 13s. Tell me about your 6, Budge. Here's the first one coming
The
up.
first one is a bit of a mix and match with the PSL and the Premiership. I've gone win and draw Tottenham at home against Arsenal. I've gone Sundowns looking for the upset, win and draw at home against Bloem Celtic. I've gone Kaiser Chiefs, win and draw at home against Highlands. I've sided with Black Pirates at Free State Stars. Likewise, Orlando Pirates against Golden Arrows. And I've banked Bidvest Wits to beat Cape Town City 192.
Okay, let's look at the next one, Budge.
The next one's a Premiership one. I've banked Man City to beat Bournemouth.
Yeah.
While I like Brighton to beat Huddersfield, we had a little bit of play, so I've thrown the draw in as well. I've gone the field with Burnley Crystal Palace. I've banked Man United to beat Southampton. While I think Wolves are good things, because of the desperation, I've thrown the draw in with Cardiff, and I've gone the field with the West Ham Newcastle 216.
Okay, the 10.
I've banked Man City to beat Bournemouth. I've gone the field with Burnley and Crystal Palace. I've banked Man United to beat Southampton. I've gone Derby win and draw at Villa Park against Aston Villa. I've gone Brentford win and draw in the London Derby against QPR.
In the housing estate.
Housing estate, yeah. I've gone the field with Hull City, Birmingham. I've banked Ipswich to beat Reading. Norwich to win at Millwall. I've gone Preston win and draw at home against Bristol City. And I've gone with Notts Forest win and draw at Stoke, 288.
288, okay. And now the big one. Budge, you've had a couple of 12s there. You can't close the door, Budge.
It's always one that seems to snare us,
You
Paul.
can't close the door.
Anyway, it happens. You've got to keep trying, Paul. I've banked United to beat Southampton. Likewise, Man City to win at Bournemouth. I've gone Brighton to win at Huddersfield. I've gone Burnley win and draw at home against Crystal Palace. I've banked Wolves to beat Cardiff. I've gone the field in West Ham, Newcastle. I've gone Derby win and draw at home away at Aston Villa. I've gone Hull City win and draw at home against Birmingham. I've banked Norwich to win at Millwall. I've gone win and draw Preston against Bristol City. Rotherham at home against Blackburn. I've got Nottingham Forest win and draw at Stoke. And I've banked Middlesbrough to beat Wigan, 326.
Okie dokie, my favourite part. Budge, best bets.
Yeah, well,
Let's go and
kick
have a
off
look
with the
at-
Premiership quartet. Yeah, I've gone Brighton to beat Huddersfield. I think Chelsea will beat Fulham by more than 1 goal.
Okay.
I've gone Man United, Southampton over 2.5 goals. And I think there'll be plenty of goals in the over 3.5 goals, Bournemouth, Man City.
Okay.
3,000.
Championship, this is tougher, much tougher.
I like Ipswich to beat Reading.
Who would have thought you'd been back in Ipswich?
Yeah, the Tractor Boys.
Yeah, that's right.
Norwich City to win at Millwall. And I've gone win and draw. Derby County against Aston Villa. Likewise, Nottingham Forest win and draw against Stoke City. 3,200 to 200. A PSL treble, I've gone Bidvest Wits to beat Cape Town City. I've gone Orlando Pirates to beat Golden Arrows. And I've gone over 2.5 goals. Baraka, Polokwane City.
Both teams to score. Now,
Yeah,
this
I've
is
gone
interesting.
Bournemouth, Man City. I've gone Everton, Liverpool.
Yeah.
I've gone Watford, Leicester. Hull City, Birmingham. And Rother Blackburn, Paul.
I'm worried about the last one, Budge.
3,300 to... Well, Paul, what I do is I put the teams that I like. I don't look at the prices.
Sure,
And then
and then you
total it
go,
at the
yes,
end,
yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough.
On to the Spanish omelette. Yeah, I've gone Atletico Madrid to beat Real Sociedad. I've gone the Yellow Submarines of Villarreal to finally get a result and beat Alaves. I've gone Sevilla to beat Huesca and over 2.5 total goals in the game. And I've gone Getafe win and draw at Real Betis, 3,200 to 200.
Collis
And
King.
on to our Collis King 6 on Exeter. I've gone Brighton to beat Huddersfield, Chelsea to beat Fulham, Swansea to beat Bolton, Atletico Madrid to beat Real Sociedad, Bayer Leverkusen to beat Freiburg, and PSG to beat Cannes.
Gee,
3,300
fantastic.
to
Budge, and then your best bet, which is
Yeah, I've
always,
gone
it's
for
having
Norwich,
a good
Paul.
run, but you really give them up. So you go on Norwich, they're away from home.
Yeah, 12 to 10, Paul. You know, I like Brighton, but 7 to 10. There are a few teams, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6 to 10. I
I'd
can't
go
go
Norwich.
for those.
They're fighting to
12
win
to
that.
10, Norwich is my play. The guy, Timothy Puku up front, he's a Finnish international, scoring goals at will.
That's ambiguous, you know, he's finishing. And how about
Yeah,
your
my
value bet?
I just think Leicester on a roll, you know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Claude Puel had no luck, Paul.
Yeah, he didn't. You know, when they played Spurs, we beat them. They were magnificent.
You know, I watched them play away from home against good teams, and they just, even against Man United, they didn't deserve to lose 1-0.
Neither Spurs, they shouldn't have
Yeah.
lost. So Claude Puel, I don't know if it's his doer nature. He doesn't get
Well, I
to
just think
people,
he
but
should
knows
have gone
his
for it
stuff.
in the Cups. You
Yes.
know, he changed his team. And if you're a Leicester, you won 5,000, won the league, you'll never win it again.
Yeah,
You know, so why not have a dip at the Cups?
I agree with you. I agree.
So, you know, Leicester's my play. I think Rodgers will come in. A lot of good young players at Leicester, Paul.
Just talking football, next week, the Champions League, you guys go to PSG.
Yeah, we go to PSG
Is
on
Neymar
Wednesday.
back? What's the
Well,
latest?
he hasn't played the last 2 games.
Hasn't, so he's not in yet. Eh?
So, you know, I don't think he'll play this week. They'll save him for the next round, more than likely.
Excellent, Budge. Well, don't forget, last one standing. It comes up this weekend. This weekend will be, half will go. It's really tough. I know my international boys will go. They don't go 3 weeks. But, Budge, it's good to see some guys have taken a lot.
Yeah.
And they've still got a lot in.
Well, they've got margin for error, Paul. They can take a few teams and
Yeah.
go against, like last night, a lot of people on Southampton. You know, it's very shrewd play that, yeah.
Yeah, you got to.
Newcastle. You've got to try and save 1 or 2 of the bigger teams for later.
Yeah.
Most guys try and get through.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
All right, Budge. Well, until next time, stay on side.